I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Remi Zvauya. I'm a senior lecturer in the medical school. I'm also the graduate entry course year 1 lead. So I look after the running of the course and I facilitate problem-based learning. Today, I'll try and give you an overview of the graduate entry course. I will refer to it as GEC, year 1. And also, introduce, just tell you what we do on the program across the 4 years. So this course, really, the graduate entry course is split into 2 parts. The first year, the graduate entry students are taught separately from the main course students. After 1 year, they are all merged into one. There's no distinction between the 2 programs. So what I will do is I'll give you a course outline, say a little bit about what you need to do to apply, i.e. the course requirements, then try and explain why we think you should come to Birmingham. And in the end, there will be a question and answer as said before. So if I can split this into 4 years. So the first year, you're actually building and synthesizing the basic knowledge. You also have a limited amount of clinical contact, particularly in community-based medicine. In the second year, you are acquiring and utilizing clinical information. You are in hospital, so you start to see patients, you start to sort of develop your clinical skills. In the third year, which we GEC 3, you start to build your professional base. You start to sort of shape yourself into a professional. You start to build your professional identity. You are becoming a doctor. You are becoming different from everybody else. In GEC 4, that's our last year, you focus on managing the patient. So both well and sick patients. So I need to say at this point, we've got COVID this year. So things will be a little bit different. The university will deliver all modules in a bimodal fashion. That means there will be things that happen on campus and there will be things that happen online. So in front, what you see there is a group of students working in a PBL room on campus. So they are learning in small group sessions on campus. This coming year, we foresee a lot of this happening online. So if you are successful, you might be doing this on Zoom. You might be discussing your scenarios on Zoom or such other platform. So on this course, how do we learn? There's problem-based learning, which is just the students in small groups. They are supported by a facilitator. They discuss issues. They tease out what they need to know. They go and research and discuss again. There's also lectures. A lot of those will be pre-recorded this year and online. We also have what we call structured small group teaching sessions. These are structured by the subject expert. And we have what we call expert-led sessions. These are sessions where when you have read stuff and you're still confused, you can ask an expert and they will answer it. We also have a day in general practice. So every Thursday, the students spend a day in general practice seeing patients with relevant conditions for the week. There's self-directed learning, peer learning, and a lot of informal learning. There's a lot of integration on the course because that's the way patients present as a whole package. So you will find that as the years go by, the basic science content becomes less and there's more clinical skills and applications as you go to, up the years from GEC 1 to GEC 4. The GMC, the General Medical Council, recommends integrated teaching. If you are successful, these are some of the facilitators or moderators that you will meet. There's one person, Richard Singleton, not there, but there's 6 of us. You get to know us very well. We get to know you. We will support you and advise you. What do these people do? They facilitate problem-based learning, they lead modules, and they give you support. That's very important, and feedback. I'll go over the modules over the year. So we always have a week of introduction. We call it introductory week before we start teaching. Because it's problem-based learning, we try to orientate students from lecture-based style of teaching to problem-based learning. So we spend a week doing that. And as mature learners, students quickly catch up on that. After which we then teach you according to modules. So the course is delivered in thematic modules. So a thematic module might be 3 or 4 weeks, and you're doing nothing but that module. However, the teaching within that module is integrated. So during each module, you will cover related topics every week. So you might be dealing with, in a PBL session, you might be dealing with a patient, and then with that patient, you look at maybe the underlying conditions, the physiology, the anatomy, maybe the social circumstances, so, the way they are living, any other social circumstances that might be relevant, any ethical dilemmas. So the teaching is very, very integrated. So having said that, the first module is cells and cancer. We start off with cells and cancer, what does the normal cell do? What happens when something goes wrong and it becomes cancerous? So that goes on for about 4 weeks. Obviously, there are a lot of social issues with cancer patients. So we also do, deal with the sociology, the psychology, public health, all aspects of non-science topics. In addition, as I said earlier on, the students spend a day on Thursday at the general practice, seeing patients with relevant conditions. In this case, they will be seeing cancer patients in the clinic. So, they might, if we were doing a particular cancer, they might see people with that cancer. So they might see patients with colon cancer, for instance. And obviously, if you think about colon cancer, there are all sorts of interesting things that you might think of. So somebody might have a stomach bag. There are social issues that come with having a stomach bag. So after that lasts for 4 weeks, then we move on to supply and demand. That's actually just a cardiovascular and respiratory module. So we do the lungs and the heart in that module, as well as the other aspects which are non-science. So for instance, if we are looking at an asthma patient, you might be thinking about compliance. Are they complying with their medication? Why are they not complying with taking their medication? So after 8 weeks, we have a week which we call reflection. During that week, we get you to reflect on how you've changed the way you view learning. We ask you to write an essay which we discuss with you. A moderator will discuss with you your thoughts on it and give you comments, feedback on it. We also give you an exam. That exam is worth 10% of the module mark. And going forward, it might be worth more, but we find that exam is very useful. This is all in the first year. It's very useful because it settles you into the university. If you pass it, you know you're doing the right things. Then we have the immunology and microbiology module, which we call threats and defense. Besides the immunology, there's a lot of obviously public health issues. We are in COVID now, so there is a lot of communicable disease issues in that module. That takes us to Christmas. After Christmas, we do the neuroscience module. So the brain, how the brain works, and reflexes, etc., etc. So that's a neuroscience module. There is a lot of psychology in that. After that, so those are 2 modules. After those 2 modules, we have another reflection exam, which lasts for a week. Again, we get you to write a reflective essay. You reflect on what been happening, your learning, we change the topic from year to year, but it's usually centered around you and your experiences. You discuss your thoughts with a moderator and you are given comments. You also have a little exam for those 2 modules. Then we move on to the reproductive and genetics module, which we call loss and renewal. That just looks at the male reproductive system, the female reproductive system, and any inherited disorders, let's say Down syndrome, et cetera, et cetera. There are non-biological science issues, for instance, contraception, teenage pregnancies, infertility, all those things are discussed during that module. The last module is fuels. This is just a mix of things. So it's got digestion, how we digest our food and absorb it into our body, how that body is utilized to get energy. And we also have the kidneys, how the kidneys excrete waste, as well as endocrinology, i.e. the hormones. So that's a 4-week module. At the end of that, the learning is finished. We then discuss with the students the things that they were confused about, or things that they didn't understand. And using that information, we design what we complex issues, which is a revision module. We sort of go over things that students struggled with. After the 2 weeks of complex issues, there is a revision period and exams. If you pass, you move on to GEC 2. We also have a hospital preparation course, which prepares you for hospital. You do that with GEC year 2 students. Right, so just a quick, very quick preview of the week. So our week starts on a session, on the Tuesday session. We have a new PBO case. We are given a new case scenario. This might be somebody with a heart attack, if it's in the cardiovascular module. The students with the help of a facilitator discuss what they know about the heart, how it works. They discuss, they also identify their learning needs. So the things that they don't know, generate learning objectives, which are then posted online. If we are using an online platform, it will already be on an online platform, so that, you know, there are 5 groups, so each group can see each other's work, so that you share maybe slight differences. On Wednesday, the support lectures. Wednesday afternoon is dedicated to anatomy. Now the anatomy is always related to the theme of the week. So if we're doing if it was a cardiovascular week, the anatomy will be on the heart. Thursday is spent at GP practice, maybe seeing patients with maybe high blood pressure, cardiovascular problems like heart attack, et cetera. So that's in the clinic, and students, that's the highlight of the week most of the time. On Friday morning, the students discuss the learning objectives they've generated on Tuesday, identify anything that they need to ask the experts. So if they are confused, they sort of generate questions which will be answered by the experts on Monday. In the afternoon, self-directed learning. Monday morning, student-led sessions. So the students sort of group together and work on their own. In the afternoon, they meet the experts, they answer questions they will have generated on Friday. In the evenings of Monday, we've got basic life support. This is run by students, and just you get to know what to do. So I move on to, that was the first year. I move on to GEC 2, which we call Clinical 2, Core 2. This is hospital-based, and we have medicine and surgery in placement 1, and in placement 2, we've got medicine and surgery again. Alongside, you got clinical sciences and community-based medicine running throughout. You also have evidence-based medicine and research methods. That's quite important because new information is coming out all the time. You need to be able to digest and use that information. There's also the clinical procedural skills passport, both in simulation and observed in practice, which, so you're picking up skills and you have a passport where you're ticking that you've you are happy with this skill, and obviously it's going to be checked by an academic, a clinical academic. At the end of, you go to exams, which are, you know, MCQs, multiple choice questions, and OSCEs, which are just practical exams, objective structured clinical exams. So that's at the end of GEC 2. If you pass, you move on. GEC 3, it's divided into blocks. So you got the first is a 9-week block, which is psychiatry and neurology. Then you have another 9-week block, which covers surgery and perioperative care, followed by 18 weeks of specialty medicine. Alongside, you've got community-based medicine running throughout, as well as a teaching project. A lot of you, if you do succeed and you become junior doctors, you will find yourselves teaching students and you know, junior doctors, other junior doctors. So it is important to understand the theoretical basis of teaching. There is also a conference poster. At the end of year 3, you've got exams, again, OSCEs and MCQs. GEC 4, which is your final year. Obviously, this should be aimed to make sure that you are ready for the real world. You are going out there to look after patients. So that's the main aim, that's the overall aim. So you've got 3 weeks of selected clinical experience, SCE. So you choose that. Then you got 5 weeks of pediatrics and 5 weeks of obstetrics and gynecology and 5 weeks of community-based medicine. You have 15 weeks of the acute ill patient. And with that, you got medicine, surgery, emergency medicine, trauma, intensive care. So there's a lot of choice there. You also at the end have 5 weeks of student clinical assistantship. This really prepares you for the world out there. So it's linked to your foundation year 1, I mean, what you do after you qualify the following year. And there's also a portfolio of activities. So you visit your portfolio. If there's anything that you haven't perfected, you try and perfect it at that stage. So at the end of that, you have got final exams, and hopefully you pass and move on. Right. If I move on to, so this course, the 4-year course, it's accelerated. The pace of work is very fast. It's demanding. So you should be prepared to work hard. We expect you to work independently as well as with your peers. So you need to be able to work in a group and also work independently. You have prior knowledge, so we do feel that you bring something to the program. We don't expect you to know all the answers. You are there to learn. A lot of students find it quite enjoyable. Is this for you, this course, Graduate Into Medicine? Yes, if you're a graduate, you have good life experience, you're committed to medicine, and I'm a mature learner. Now, this year is a good example for that. So sometimes we might have to change the modules. We are not likely to change the modules as advertised at the moment, but you know there's COVID. So I told you at the beginning that we will deliver in a bimodal fashion. The learning outcomes are not going to change, but the teaching will be both online and on campus, given the fact that we've got COVID and the social distancing. So this is just to tell you that things might be tweaked slightly as we start the year. So this is where most of you are interested. So I advise you to look at our website. We do score our applicants. So we score them on the listed things there, and we then rank them. So we use your UCAT overall score, your degree result, that might be first class, a 2-1, we don't know. Or some of you will have postgraduate qualifications. We also look at the school qualifications. So biology or chemistry is normally required, unless if you've got degrees like biochemistry or biosciences, then you need to have a discussion with the admissions tutor, email the admissions tutor, and they will tell you whether your degree is exempt or not. We also look at GCSEs, so we normally look at English and maths. We do take into account contextual data. So if, for instance, you went to a struggling comprehensive, or you went to a high-flying grammar school, or you went to a private school, that is taken into account in the scoring. So you wouldn't expect somebody who's at a top grammar school to be equivalent to somebody who's at a struggling comprehensive. So that is taken into account. We also look at the time spent in postgraduate study. Please look at our website for details. If you have any doubt, if you've got any questions, email the admissions tutor, Dr. Austin Spruce. I will show you his email at the end. These are some of the degrees we consider to be biological sciences. So this is not exhaustive. If you have got a degree and you're not sure whether it fits into the category of life science, please email the admissions tutor. A lot of you will have graduated and are working. We require that you be doing something significant post-degree. That is not necessarily paid work in the healthcare sector, but it should be something significant. If you are not working in the healthcare sector, you should be accruing evidence to demonstrate that you are motivated towards medicine. That might include maybe volunteering, maybe 1 day a week or 1 weekend, but it has to be over a period of time. It should be ongoing, in other words. We will also want you to satisfy health declaration and CRB, criminal record bureau check. So those two are additional requirements if you've satisfied all that. So a lot of you are asking, how do you rank, what happens when my application is in? So I'll just go over that process again. So we get, say, 800 applicants or 400 applicants, for argument's sake. The numbers are in that. I'm not exaggerating. Their minimum is 400 applicants. People then rank those applications using the criteria I've just shown you. So they are ranked. They are scored and ranked. So you are given marks for each thing on your application. You total the score and you rank the applicants. We then call people for interview. Probably, let's say 100 applicants. Usually it's about 100 applicants. We invite people for interview, about 100, maybe out of 500, 600, 700. When they come to interview, the interviews take a certain format. We do what we call multiple mini interviews. Again, at this point, I need to say that because of COVID and lockdown, the nature of these interviews are likely to be online. In the past, they've been at the medical school. You come to the medical school, it's very nice. We believe we've got a very nice campus. So you see the medical school, you get impressed. And because of COVID, that might not be possible. Keep an eye on the website. So we have a number of stations. So there will be little rooms. I like to describe this as speed dating, akin to speed dating. So you got people in different rooms. In this case, if it's online, it's on different platforms. So you are then interviewed for 7 minutes, question and answer. You might be given a station on motivation and insight. Why do you want to do medicine? So you quizzed about that, you scored, you move on to the next station. It might be a critical thinking station or a role play station or dealing with an ethical dilemma. Presented with an ethical dilemma, you're asked about, you're thinking about it, it's scored, you move on to the next one. The marks are totaled up, ranked, and then the people with the highest score, the first 40 people are given places. The system is as fair as that. So that is the process. If you've got any questions, email Dr. Austin Spruce, the admissions tutor. He will answer your questions. He always answers questions. Why should you come to Birmingham? Well, I think there are a lot of good reasons why you should come to us. Our course is tried and tested. We like to think that we are at the top end of the graduate entry programs because you are supported. If we are on campus, you've got a corridor dedicated to yourselves with rooms that we have 24/7. We have a lot of resources. There is a very, very strong team of experienced moderators. These are people who come from different backgrounds, clinicians, clinical scientists, and they have been doing this for a while. They are very dedicated to this course. They will support you. You get to know each other very well, and you get to know the moderators very well. You may develop you will develop strong friendships that last for a very long time. There is a lot of support from the staff, particularly in the first year. The Birmingham area, for those of you who are familiar with it, is very diverse. And from a student point of view, that's a very good thing, because you get to see all sorts of patients, all sorts of conditions. So that diversity translates into the patients that you see. So you learn a lot. We've got very, very good hospitals. The surrounding trusts are very good. We obviously have the Queen Elizabeth, which is one of the state-of-the-art hospital within the UK. So that is a plus. Our students have got a very successful track record. At the end of the year, they are usually at the top end of the course, because by the time you graduate, there's the graduate entry course students and the main course students were 400. So the graduate entry students usually end up with prizes, the VV prizes. They also, a lot of them graduate with honors. So it is a very, very tried and tested program. There are also very good foundation opportunities after graduating, or you might decide to go and do further studies like the student here we will see who is talking about. We really do try at this medical school to prepare you for the 21st century, and you will be a safe, sensible, well-equipped practitioner, ready to look after patients. Our students do very, very well in the postgraduate college exams. These are the specialties. So if you decide you want to be a GP, you want to be a surgeon, you have to write exams, and our students do very well in those exams. We pride ourselves in providing an excellent student experience. We always look for, we always involve our students and listen to them and incorporate their suggestions in ensuring that the students have a good student experience. Right, if you were successful, we have one plan. That plan is to graduate you. We have no plan B. That's the end of my talk. Thank you very much.